Hi everyone, welcome to Hedgehog Hollow. So I thought I would drop in quickly this evening because we have a couple of things to tell you about. We never got to Kraft together last Sunday either, so I thought we could do that quickly. I had a couple of ideas following our live the other night. You had some questions, so I thought we could do a couple of those this evening and a few updates for you. So let's see who we have online with us. Lots of our members, lots of green names dropping in this evening. We've got Melody and Karen. Tracy's here, Gail, Sarah, Debbie, Greg is stealing my biscuits, Connie, SK Gilman, and another Debbie, and who else? Dee's here, hi Dee, Debbie, Jen, Laurel is here, hi Laurel, Jen, I did see your text, Laurel, I just haven't replied yet, I know, Gail's here, Mendy's here, lots and lots of people. Pub takes priority. Did Greg switch it over when I was still talking about the pub? So he was like, can we do the live now really quickly and then I can get to go to the pub? So our Friday night tradition generally is that we go to our local bar on a Friday evening. I don't have to cook, and so we have a couple of drinks. Greg gets to drink some beer and then we have dinner with the girls there.
All right, so that's all we have time for today, everybody. Thanks for stopping by the Hedgehog Hollow. We'll speak to you again in the next live.
No.
Oh.
Christina's just joined us too. So, a couple of updates and things, and I'll repeat them throughout the live for people who join us.
No need to repeat them. Say it once, you're done.
Greg, I'm going to banish you to outside in a minute. So, a couple of things that are going on. So, for our members, your normal tonic coupon that gives you 10% off the whole tonic store has been increased to 20% off of the whole tonic store, and that is valid until April 30th. And if you're not a Channel Perks member, you can become a Channel Perks member and take advantage of that coupon. So, it's 20% off the UK/worldwide and US stores. You can also get 10% off at Reinker, at Pink and Main, at Thermoweb there's money off. There's money off at Elizabeth Craft Designs. Tons and tons of stores. So people are laughing at you, Greg. Lots and lots of things going on there. But that is extended flash sale just for our Perks members. 20% off the whole tonic store. And if you would like to become a Perks member, I will pop the link into the chat for you. If you're watching this after it's live, you can check that out in the video description, bottom right hand corner, or you can use the join button that's next to the subscribe button. Yes, Laurel's been using her discounts, it looks like, too. So that's available to you. Also, we will have more mystery boxes for you on Sunday. I'm not going to commit to a time yet because it depends on a couple of other things we have going on. We have around another 30 mystery boxes going on. Perks members will get $5 off of every single mystery box as they did last week. So there's another reason to become a Perks member. They also get a heads up of the mystery boxes and what time we'll be going live. We give our Perks members a heads up. So again, there's another reason to join because instantly you save more than the membership by getting it, and you'll get a heads up as to the boxes and when we'll be going live. So, Greg's chatting with you here as well. Deanna says, I'm with Greg, let's head to the pub.
Good idea, let's do that.
Greg is stealing my biscuits as well, and I can't do anything about it because I'm going live.
If we're at a pub live.
I always have a secret packet of biscuits in
We're
here.
not very secret anymore. I found them.
So if anyone's watching, my favourite biscuits are chocolate hobnobs. If anyone takes pity on me and would like to send me some, I would love them. They are my favourite, as is Galaxy or Cadbury's Dairy Milk.
They're fantastic.
See? Now I'm losing them all. So, things I go through to do a live. But everyone loves you, Greg. That's not how I'm feeling about it right now. Yes, so, yes, there is a code for Tonic members, for Perks members for the Tonic website. You can check out the community wall. I did repost the link for the 20%. It is the normal code. I also have pinned it in the announcements, and I posted it in the Facebook page, the group that we have for our Perks members. So you can get 20% off. Laurel wants to know what biscuits they are. They are chocolate hobnobs. You can buy them on Amazon. They're British. Yes.
They're amazing.
They are amazing. They're the best biscuits in the whole world. So, a couple of things I wanted to mention. So, Laurel will be with me that Tonic have released these new metal papers, and they are just simply amazing. So there's a silver, there's a copper, and there are 2 different shades of gold. And we used these in the live the other night, and I did a piece, and then I did an alcohol lift ink off of it, and it was amazing. And a few of you asked me a couple of questions about other ways that you could use them, and I wanted to address those too, because they are just fab. So they are a thin metal. You can do tons and tons of different things with them. I'm still working on the heating, but I'm getting there. I nearly have a refined technique. Greg was like, you're never going to make that work. I was like, just you wait. Just you wait till I get off the live and he's eaten all of my biscuits. I won't tell him where the rest of my stash of biscuits is. He doesn't know that I have a secret stash of chocolate digestives and rich tea biscuits. And
right here, honey.
Yeah, but you don't know where they are, Greg.
I'll find them.
Greg, could you grab me an acrylic block, please?
Somebody said their favourite biscuits are McVitie's. McVitie's make hobnobs.
Yes, McVitie's. Hobnobs are McVitie's, I should say. Melody said that. So, yeah, Laurel loves these papers. These are amazing. Jenny says Tim Tams. Yes, we do love a Tim Tam.
Slam.
Tim Tam slams are like a Saturday morning constitutional in this household. So I like the mint ones. Greg likes the caramel ones.
For those of you that don't know what a Tim Tam or a Tim Tam Slam is, it's like a chocolate biscuit. You bite off the adjacent corners and then you use it like a straw to suck your coffee into it.
And then you quickly
eat the whole thing. You get this coffee-infused chocolate biscuit
I
thing
feel like there's a boomerang in that Tim Tam Slam. We've never done a boomerang of a Tim Tam Slam.
We might have to do it in a joint live. We'll have a coffee live and we'll do it.
Yeah, so a Tim Tam Slam. They're Australian biscuits, but you can buy them in Target here in America. That's where I get our Tim Tams. I've never seen them in England. I never remember us being able to get them in England.
I don't think so.
No, but you can get them in America, but they're actually Australian. So, so yes. A bit like a penguin biscuit, kind of. But they're smaller and they're thicker, but yet a bit like a penguin. So a couple of things that people asked me, getting back to the crafting, of course, was how do you stamp on the metal? So if you're going to stamp, you're going to want to use the Reinker archival ink. And I've already added the supply list in the description. Great, I'm organised. There's a supply list in the video description.
I found the biscuits on Amazon, but the URL is too big to paste into the chat.
Well, if you knew how to use a Mac, I'd tell you how to sort it out, but...
Get on with it.
So, if you want to stamp onto the metal, you absolutely can. But you're going to want to use something that works on a non-porous surface. You could use a hybrid ink, but you're going to take a while to dry it. And you're not going to get the vivid colour you want. So, my go-to would be Reinker Archival. Link in the video description for you. So, I've got here a Tim Holtz stamp. It's called Fragments. So, I'm going to stamp one out for you. I really should be using my Misty, but...
I should really be panning down.
You
Sorry,
should,
my
yes.
bad.
He was too busy chatting about biscuits.
Yeah, I was chatting biscuits.
Ba-dum. So I'm going to stamp out here. You're going to want to give it a nice firm stamp. Yeah, I really should have used my Misty because you're going to want to build up your colour a couple of times. So let me trim off a bit with the Misty, like this. So if you're going to want to cut the metal, you're going to want to cut it with a good trimmer, and as you all know, my go-to trimmer is the Tim Holtz trimmer. So if you're a Perks member, you can get 20% off this till the 30th. If not, I have a 10% off tools coupon in the video description for you. I do not like Stays-On ink, personally. So you could use Stays-On. Laurel says she doesn't have archival ink. Laurel, you need archival ink. It is the best non-porous ink around, in my opinion.
Oh, we have a new member.
Oh, welcome Nancy as one of our members. So don't forget to check out the community wall, and we also have a Facebook group you can join, which also has all the information. Sign up for your birthday card, all of those kinds of things. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tape this down. So the metal is not great with magnets. It moves around a lot. So I like to use a little bit of tape just to keep it in place. Like this will work fine. And so what you're going to do is just build up your layers a couple of times. When you're stamping on the metal, it's just a little bit harder. So someone I see is talking about Dream Drops. Okay, so Dream Drops work best on darker cardstocks. The reds, the blues, the greens, the blacks, etc., etc. They will work on white cardstock, but they're just going to be a lighter iridescent. The other thing is they're going to dry completely different to how they go on wet. So that's what's... Oh, we're having a cookie discussion. So that's one thing about Dream Drops.
Oh, you're having a cookie discussion.
Well, I'm trying to have a serious crafting discussion
Well,
here.
we're trying to talk about biscuits.
So going back to Dream Drops. So Dream Drops are going to dry completely different to how they go on wet. So that's the other thing. And I did do a demonstration back when they were launched as to how they dry on white versus how they dry on black. So you'll see here, I've built up a couple of coats of the archival on my metal. And you see now how I've got a nice image. Greg.
Oh.
So you can see this here. So you can see that that's kind of building up. So what you're going to find when you stamp on metal is you just want to build up a couple of coats. And that's how you're going to get a really nice image. So you can see that there. So that's one question that I had answered. Somebody else asked me if you could heat emboss on metal. And you absolutely can. So I'm going to do that too. And I did grab some other Tim Holtz stamps that I have here. And so I thought we could do that. So this one is from this collection. It's called The Professor. I did do a whole video on this Tim Holtz launch, which Laurel linked everything up for you. So what I'm going to do is just put down a little bit of my anti-static because it's going to be a lot worse on your, what's the word I'm going for? Metal. There's going to be a lot more static on here. So I'm very generous with my anti-static tool here. So I'm going to go with that. Then I'm going to use my Nuvo Clear Mark, like this. And then I'm going to use my embossing powder. I'm going to make sure I stamp this out nicely. And you can see this is why I use the tape to just hold it down. And then I'm going to use some of my Nuvo Fine embossing powder. Let's go with some Glacier White. Are the edges sharp? Yeah, they will be sharp when you first trim it, but I mean, they're not, you know, if I go like that, yes, I'm going to give myself a paper cut as I would with any paper, but it's not going to be horrifically bad. I saw someone mention chocolate buttons. Oh my goodness, I miss chocolate buttons. I miss British chocolate in general. The chocolate in America, I'm sorry, but your chocolate is awful. I can't use any other...
Break it to them like that.
I can't help it. There are no other words to describe it. So you can see that you can get a really nice impression with heat embossing on the metal. And so I'm going to use my Wagner heat tool for this one. Well, Greg, if you would ring Spectrum and sort it out. So I'm just going to heat emboss as normal. Okay. Even Hershey chocolate is the worst chocolate. I'm sorry, but...
Honey, you're going to start a
no,
riot.
no. Kim says, even Hershey chocolate. And then someone else says, I agree about the chocolate. I'm sorry. But, like, Hershey chocolate is horrific chocolate. So if you ask an English person about Hershey chocolate, they will tell you that Hershey chocolate has a vomit aftertaste.
For God's sake, can we get on with the crafting and not talk...
It does. I'm sorry. It's just, if you're British and you've had British chocolate all your life, you cannot have American chocolate. The only chocolate I eat here are Milk Duds. They now do Maltesers, which are okay-ish, but they're still not what we call Maltesers. And mini eggs, because they're the only mini eggs I can buy. So the heat embossing works really well. Caution, do not pick your heat embossing up straight away because it will be hot. The metal conducts the heat. It's going to be hotter than a piece of paper, but it absolutely works. Greg's not paying any attention whatsoever.
I'm talking about chocolate. Lindt chocolate is really good, but that's Swiss, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's still made under license. It's not as good as proper Lindt.
Oh, is it not?
No.
But
So,
it is good.
so you can see there. Thank you, Greg. You can see the heat embossing works really, really well. And the other fun thing that you can do on here is you could go over the top of this with your alcohol inks and then you'd have even more texture. So I know Greg's going to moan at me, but if I grabbed my press and seal, somebody asked what's the best embossing powder. Personally, I love tonic embossing powder, particularly the ultra fine for my sentiments. Or I like Wow embossing powder. If I'm going to buy one of them, I would buy those two. They're the highest quality embossing powders. Everybody else's embossing powder, Simon Says Stamp, Altenew, Lawn Fawn, all of those, they're all made by the same company. And in my opinion, they're not the greatest embossing powders. Just my opinion, but personally, that's what I think. But what you can do is once you've done your heat embossing, is you can go in and you can add alcohol inks over the top. If you want to, and you can get the lids off. Okay, maybe not that one. What's up, Greg?
We're dropping 27.3% of our frame uploads.
Well, you need to ring Spectrum, dearest.
Yeah, but when you do a speed test, our internet's really good.
Well, I don't know. That's not
I
my
don't know
bag.
either. That's
That's
the
not
problem.
my bag. That's your job. That's a blue job. We have blue jobs and we have pink jobs.
What colour are these?
And so because alcohol inks are translucent, you can then see your heat embossing through it. So you can do heat embossing as texture adding and then do that over the top. So you have a couple of different options. So I think that's a cool idea too. So I'm just going to dry that off a little bit and just evaporate some of that off for another option. Brutus Monroe embossing powder. I don't have Brutus Monroe's, but basically if it's made by a particular company, they all come in the same container. Would you like to grab one of the said containers, Greg? In my embossing powder drawer, if you grab, next one down, grab one of the containers that all look the same. No, the actual embossing powder. Just put your hand somewhere. Yeah, one of those. If they come in a pot that looks like this, it's out of focus, then it's all made by the same company. They just put different stickers on them. So if it comes in a pot like that, it's all made by the same company. So that's, there you go. So there you go. So that's just another option you have. You can see it just adds texture underneath if you want to. Now another way that you can do exactly the same thing, adding texture and whatnot, if I grab some of the silver, and again I'm just going to trim it down using my Tim Holtz trimmer. So if I take this and I take one of my tonic stencils, and you all know I love my tonic stencils because they have this nice little tab on the end which allows me to lift it up. These all have pixie spray on too. I'm also going to take some texture paste on here, and I'm just going to put some onto, or through my stencil I should say. So this is one of the new tonic stencils. Again, you can get 20% off. And if you're not a Perks member, you can get 15% off the paper this week, or 10% off tools. Or if you're a Perks member, you could just get 20% off of everything in the whole store through the 30th. So there you have a whole option as there. Don't worry, Laurel, I have tonic stencils to you. So they will be on the way to the tonic design team very soon. but I'm going to lift this up. So there you can see I have a really pretty design with my texture paste. And I'm going to give it a quick dry. Oh, yeah, the tonic spatulas are amazing. So I should have mentioned, so I was using my Nuvo silicone spatula. You get 2 in a pack. You get this shape and you get another shape that I don't have here. Greg's grabbing one. And there we go. So you get this shape as well. And they're silicone based, so you get really low wastage of all your art supplies, which of course we all love.
Oh, we have a new member.
Oh, welcome, Kathy. So, as I say, don't forget to check out all of the posts in the community wall and also the Facebook group. So I'm just giving my texture paste a quick dry off here. Just because I wanted to show you another technique. But it just takes a minute. Again, don't touch the metal while you have your heat gun over it. It is super, super hot. But I like working on the press and seal because it's low clear up. And Greg likes low clear up. Don't you, dear?
Bernadette's invited us to Colorado.
Oh, Greg really wants to move to Colorado.
Yeah. I work full-time as an engineer. But if Hedgehog Hollow continues to do well, we can quit that and just work at Hedgehog Hollow, and then we can move to Colorado.
Yep.
That's
So your support to us is very important because it means that Greg can come and work with Hedgehog Hollow, with me, not for me. And then that's the dream, is that we could come and move to Colorado. I should also say that there is a stamp show tomorrow in Akron. So if you don't know about that, there's the Adventures in Stamping stamp show. It's on tomorrow and Sunday. There was classes today. Wendy Vecchi's going to be there. Stampers Anonymous are there. Trying to think who else is there. Who else is there? Tons of companies. I don't know why I've just got brain blank going on. But tons of companies are going to be there. We'll be there. Greg and I are going in the afternoon for a few hours. So if you live near the Akron area, it's a really great show. Tons of vendors go. It's always the busiest show of the year kind of for Akron, particularly as the full show that they had, the Scrapbook Expo, whatever they called themselves. They've cancelled that show. So this will really be the only show we have in Akron this year. So if you are in that area, then do come along. We'd love to see you. So Laurel's pointing out that I'm drying my texture paste with my Heat It tool, not my embossing tool. The reason I'm doing that is this gives me the same amount of heat but a lower airflow. So my texture paste is not going to bubble. It's just going to dry, as opposed to if I use my Wagner tool, it would just bubble all over the place. So I'm hoping this is somewhat dry now. Yes, it is. But my metal is very, very hot. So a Heat It tool, I do believe I also linked it in the description. So this is the Heat It tool, and this is the Wagner heat tool. So these are the two. If you listen to the this one here, you can hear that it's kind of low airflow versus high airflow. It's much noisier. They both get to the same temperature. They both get, I think it's around about the 400 degree. That one went on the floor. 400 degrees mark. Thank you, Greg, for shaking your head at me. But one has a lower airflow. So my Heat It tool I use for drying things if I need a lower airflow, particularly if I'm working with watercolors, because it doesn't move my water around. It still keeps any pretty patterns that I've got in there. And then my Wagner one I use exclusively really for heat embossing because it goes much quicker. It gives me a better airflow, all those kinds of things. So that's on there as well.
Jenny's asking, what's the difference between biscuits and cookies?
Oh.
Important conversation.
Okay.
There we go. Now I'm not going to get to go to the pub anymore.
So, a biscuit in England is... Give me a biscuit.
No.
So he's going to give me one now. So what you call a cookie is what we call a biscuit. What you call a biscuit in America is what we call a scone. Or a scone, depending on your school of thought. Greg, give me a biscuit so I can show them. So this is a biscuit.
Well,
it's
half a biscuit.
Half a biscuit. A cookie, to us, is bigger and it's kind of more gooey in the centre and it has chocolate chips in it. We're not going to give that back to Greg. We'll put that on the back so we can't get to it. And then, so what you call a biscuit, we call a scone. And what you call a scone, I have no idea because that's not what we call a scone. So yes, so that's the difference between a cookie and a biscuit. A biscuit is smaller, it's crispier. A cookie is bigger, it's gooier, and then a scone is a biscuit. So the thing that you get at KFC that you call a biscuit is not a biscuit. That's a savoury scone. So there is your there's your thing. There you go. So there we go. So back to the crafting. So my texture paste is dry. So I now have a really pretty texture on there. Now texture paste you can also mix with things like your distress oxides, your distress inks, your any base dye ink. You can mix your texture paste and create any colour you want. So I could colour that and I could have had any colour flowers I wanted on top of my metal. And I think that makes a really pretty background. It also has a really nice tactile feel to it. So I could have had that pretty textured background. And then it's also really pretty. The other thing I can now do, because it's a non-porous surface, is I can add alcohol inks. And what I could do is I can add my alcohol pearls to it too, because we haven't done that. One thing you want to do with alcohol pearls is give them a really good shake. So I'm just going to shake up a couple of colours. Greg, could you grab a couple, please? So I'm going to go with Intrigue. And what did I give you? So let's go with these here. Jenny said she doesn't call anything a biscuit. So, where can you get a star die? Tonic do star dies and scrapbook.com do good star dies. So, there's some good star dies for you.
Should have done this before the live.
So, they're good. Okay, so what you can now do is you can add in alcohol inks. So, I'm just going to add in some of my alcohol pearls, just because I fancy something a little bit different. And the thing is, you can mix your alcohol inks and your alcohol pearls in the same project. You don't have to just use one or the other. So you can see here. So I'm just adding in a couple of different colours. And again, if you want to, you can kind of, blow out those colours. And I love how the pearls react on the metal too. You kind of get another effect again. But you can see if I kept going, I could cover in all of those areas and I could get some really pretty effects. So isn't that cool? So there's another option on there as well. So there's more options. And then I could, if I wanted to, I could grab my regular alcohol inks and I could add some of those in too. So I'm not restricted to just using pearls. I can, do all sorts of things. And as I say, if I wanted to colour my texture paste up front, I could have done that too. I could have mixed in distress inks and distress oxides or any coloured dye base. I could have done that and added colour. And the other thing is where I've layered my regular alcohol ink over the top of my pearl, that regular alcohol ink has picked up some of that pearl, and so that's now become a pearl colour. So you could kind of layer up and add all sorts of things to it. So again, lots and lots of different ideas, different ways you can use it. I am in love with using these metals, and it's just another way to add a little bit of sparkle, to add a different texture. You can take your score tool and you can score them and make really fun designs. You could cut a piece off like this. And you could grab your score pal. And you see, because it's on the press and seal, I can just move that piece of press and seal to the side that has all my mess and keep working on my mat, and I don't have to worry about anything. But then I could go, okay, so every ½ an inch, I'm just going to score like this. I think Greg's forgotten to pan down again, but whatever. But now you can do like quilted patterns. So you can do this And so I can do really fun things, and then I could add alcohol inks over the top of this. And again, I would have some really fun texture underneath my alcohol inks. So again, love, love, love being able to do these kind of really fun, fun things with my papers. And all of them, as I say, you've got the copper, you've got the silver, and you've got 2 different colors of gold. So you've got lots and lots of ideas. You've got those coupon codes, and if you're a Perks member, you can get 20% off the entire Tonic store. Whether you're in the UK, whether you're in Australia, whether you're in America, you can get it off the entire global stores of Tonic until the 30th of April. So it's well worth joining as a Perks member because you only have to spend $25 at Tonic and you've already made back your Perks fee. So well worth it. Plus all the other stores that are in there. Ranger's in there, Pink and Main is in there, Elizabeth Craft Designs, LDRS. Who else is in there? Ranger, LDRS, Elizabeth Craft, I don't know, Ellen Hudson's in there. Tons and tons of your favourite stores are in there. And we're adding more all of the time. So lots and lots of options in there for you. Supply list, of course, in the links below. I hope we get to see you in Akron too. We'll also be doing more mystery boxes on Sunday. Perks members will get $5 off of every single mystery box too. And you'll get advance notice of what is in the boxes. And also when we'll be going live with those mystery boxes. So you'll get to know all of those things first too. Also, don't forget to sign up for your Hedgehog Hollow subscription box. We're about to close those out. They're nearly sold out. We've got over $80 this month of value in your subscription box. Really, really beautiful designs from Sophia Caldwell. So they're going out. Tons and tons of things going on. I hope you'll join us on Sunday. I think we do still have a video going out later tonight too, so we'll be premiering that. Tons and tons of things going on. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this quick live and some ideas using those metal sheets, and also answered some of your questions from the live we did with Tonic too. And I will see you again very, very soon. Happy stamping, everyone. I'll see you on Sunday. Bye.